Good morning and welcome back to the First Alert Desk here on Atlanta News First Plus. If you're joining us for the first time, well, welcome. This is another installment of Catch Up Quick, where we catch you up on the latest stories making headlines in and around Metro Atlanta. I always like to start these with a beautiful look outside at Midtown Atlanta right now. Dry, sunny, a nice day to step outdoors if you have the opportunity and just soak up a little bit of that sun. A little chilly, but warming up to where we were last week for sure. Meteorologist Rodney Harris will be joining us here in a few minutes to give you your work week and weekend forecast so you can make plans in the coming days. I want to start with our breaking news story that we've been following here. Atlanta police investigating a death near Cheshire Bridge Road after it was discovered that a person was hit and killed by a train just along these tracks. Now, you might be familiar with this area. This is near the Heretic Atlanta nightclub. Right now, police combing through the scene and investigating. They said they got the call originally that an auto accident had taken place here just after 6 o'clock this morning. But when they arrived to this railroad track area, they discovered that it was in fact a person that was hit and killed by a CSX. Again, police combing through the area, the investigation very much ongoing, so this will be blocked off for quite some time. We'll be following this one closely and bring you any developments and updates, including who the victim was, on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. We are also working to learn more about a SWAT standoff that ended overnight in southwest Atlanta. This one just off of, excuse me as I bring the volume down here for you, this one just off of Osborne Street. Police say a suspect who was possibly armed went into a home there, so the SWAT team was called to secure the area. Police telling us that no one was found in the home, but they say officers are investigating a separate residence with possible involvement. We will, of course, follow this one and let you know closely what we learn on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the free Atlanta News First app. All right, top story of the day today. Some Georgia lawmakers are pushing for a question to be put on the November ballot surrounding abortion. Lawmakers held a news conference earlier today. They proposed a long-shot idea regarding tackling the topic of abortion here in the state of Georgia. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm has more on this story.
Democrats in the Georgia House have drafted a resolution. They want voters to decide if the right to an abortion should be enshrined into the state's constitution. Of course, right now in Georgia, most abortions are banned after roughly the 6th week of pregnancy, once cardiac activity can be detected in the womb. So this piece of legislation is a long shot, to say the least. It takes a 2/3 majority in both chambers to get a question on the ballot, and that would be nearly impossible in this heavily Republican state capital. But the timing of this news conference is significant after what happened just yesterday in a neighboring state. The Supreme Court of Alabama ruled that frozen embryos are children and that they are protected under the state's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act. Well, that ruling has a lot of people nervous, especially advocates of abortion rights, and especially those who perform or are seeking fertility treatments.
Now the court is saying that that's a person. Can we freeze embryos? I don't know. Can you freeze a person? What will happen to all of those embryos? We might see this spread into other states as well.
So here at the Georgia Capitol, Democrats are trying to put the focus back on reproductive rights. The news conference begins at 9 o'clock. We'll be there, and we'll have updates for you throughout the day. At the state capitol, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And of course, you can watch that full news conference and the remarks that came out of it on our website right here, AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Also available for you in the free Atlanta News First app. Happening today, the trial for rapper Young Thug and co-defendants known as YSL continues into its several weeks since it began. Really, this has been one of the most consequential trials in Georgia history, one of the longest for sure. But Gunna's label partner and rapper Young Thug continues to fight for his freedom in the ongoing trial. There was heated debate over a high-profile 911 call in the Fulton County YSL trial. Prosecutors pushing for the call that mentions rapper Young Thug specifically. They want it to be admitted as evidence in this case. They claim the artist and his co-defendants are responsible for a handful of violent crimes. Defense attorneys say that is simply not true. They claim YSL is not a gang, but simply the name of a record label. The 911 call comes from 2013 and was played in court when jurors were not in the room. In the call, a woman is heard telling the operator this is not an emergency, but that her neighbor is in a panic. Later in the call, the woman mentions the name Young Thug. Defense attorneys say the 911 call should not be admitted as evidence because of hearsay. And of course, we are continuing to bring you live coverage across all of our digital platforms here on Atlanta News First Plus. Trial is supposed to resume at 10 a.m. It is currently 10:05. We will let you know any moment that the court opens back up for the day and take you through live coverage and repeat it again, resumed testimony as we continue to follow this trial closely. All right, there has been a lot of conversation surrounding a new law that would ban right turns on red. It's an ordinance that would be implemented in Midtown, Downtown, and Castleberry neighborhoods as soon as this year. Atlanta News First Joshua Skinner spoke with people who pushed for this law, and they are saying they're now eager to see safety improvements that are geared towards them.
Atlanta's new law installing about 300 no right on red signs throughout the city is great for pedestrians. And some people say it's just a start.
Ready, set, stop.
Walking in Atlanta is one of the hardest things.
If you didn't hear about the new law passed by the Atlanta City Council Tuesday, it won't be long until you see it.
People are most likely to be hit when they're actually crossing the street.
Rebecca Serna has spent years studying Atlanta's walking problem. She helps run Propel ATL, a nonprofit that works to make streets safer.
Traffic is not like cancer. We actually know how to make traffic safe. We know how to make it safe to get around.
And by a 10-3 vote, Atlanta decided the next change was right on red lights in certain parts of the city.
Banning those turns on red has been proven in other cities to make people walking less likely to be hit by cars.
The math is simple. Drivers turning right are usually making sure nothing is coming from their left. A pedestrian can easily be missed on the opposite side. The change will affect Castleberry, Midtown, and Downtown. But what about outside of town? David Matthews lives in Oakwood, not far from Lake Lanier in Hall County.
I'm kind of crossed on it.
He thinks the change is good for more populated areas, but might not be best for the edges of the metro. To him, the issue's something else.
We're just driving like bats out of you-know-where.
And with cars hitting the road like a battering ram, the priorities are different for different areas.
I think the high-density areas are the first and foremost main concern.
And the change is not immediate. It will be rolled out by the end of 2025.
We're not talking about adding 10 minutes to your commute. This is a few seconds.
Downtown, Midtown, and out of town. Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
And it is Wednesday, so I know a lot of you are starting to make your weekend plans, and take a look at that. That is some warming of weather if I ever did see it. Meteorologist Rodney Harris has your forecast.
Hey, good morning to you, Maria, and happy Wednesday to you, everybody. So 2 stories that we want to get across this morning. First of all, warmer temperatures, and then the opportunity for some rain in Metro Atlanta. We'll start with the warmer temperatures, and as you can see, these highs here over the next 7 days are all 60 or above. That's good. Our normal is 60, so we're at or above average over the next 7 days. And next Monday and Tuesday, that yellow that you see, those are the 70s that are in your forecast, making an appearance in February. So I've had some questions. Is 70s in February normal for Atlanta? The reason why this question is being asked is because the normal overall high in Atlanta for February is 58 degrees. So anytime we hit 70, that's already above average. It's actually not that unusual. We average about 2 days every February where the temperature hits 70 in Atlanta. Last year we had 11 days of 70 plus weather. This year we've already had one 70-degree day. That was earlier in February, with at least 2 more to go. And the most number of 70-degree days in February in Atlanta was back in 1890, more than 100 years ago, with 13 70-degree days. So all that is to say that it's not unusual. It's definitely below average, but it happens, and that's definitely in our forecast as we head toward the beginning of next week. In fact, tomorrow's high is 69, so we'll get pretty close to 70 tomorrow. In terms of rain, so we do have a cold front that's going to move through Thursday night going into Friday, that'll give us a really quick shot of rain. So I want to walk you through the latest forecast model. This has actually changed since we were on the news a couple of hours ago or an hour ago. So this is Thursday at 6 o'clock. We're still seeing showers from Rome to Somerville to Dalton, really more for northwest Georgia, just a few showers that'll be out there. If you're in metro Atlanta as you're driving home from work, cloudy but still dry. And then by 10 o'clock, there could be like a shower or two out there in metro Atlanta tomorrow night. Again, this is not today. Today's fantastic. This is Thursday. So if you're going to dinner Thursday night in metro Atlanta, it'll be dry. But if you're coming home from dinner, you might see a shower or two. And then the actual cold front is going to start to move through very early on Friday morning. Right now, we have this rain at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe some rumbles of thunder as well. This is Friday morning. So if you go to work very early on Friday, there will be rain out there. But by 7 o'clock, as most of you get on the road, that rain will be south and east of metro Atlanta. And Friday will generally be a clearing day. We'll see some sunshine by Friday afternoon. So in terms of the rainfall amounts, we are looking at a trace of rain at best, maybe half an inch in some locations. But because this is such a fast-moving front, a quick event, we're just not going to see that much rain. So outside of that opportunity for rain late Thursday going into early Friday, it's really a nice next 7 days with warmer temperatures, particularly today. Completely clear out there today with a high of 65. So we hope that you enjoy it. We'll keep you up to date on those rain chances with an updated model coming up on Atlanta News First at 9. We hope that you guys have an amazing Wednesday, and until next time, we'll see you soon.